All right, guys, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the Aftermarket Recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Welcome aboard. It is, actually, it's Tuesday, February 8th. Man, I forget the days. February 8th, 2022. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, click on that white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Like our videos, please, if you do enjoy them, and comment with any of your questions. Here to help in every way we can. Let's do it. Dow Jones climbed up 371 points. We hit as high as up 400 at one point, up 1.06%. NASDAQ gained 1.28%, 14,194. S&P gained 0.84% at 45.21. End of the day buying as 3 p.m. was the power hour. Equal weight ETF on the S&P up 0.92%. IWM small caps gained 1.71%. The dollar gained 0.23%, 95.61. 10-year yields were a little higher earlier today, came back down a little bit, 1.954, but still green for the day in terms of the yields, bonds being red. Gold, GLD gained 0.31%, silver 0.85%. Those are the ETFs for gold and silver respectively. High yield credit lost 0.11%, 83.62. Investment grade credit fell 0.37%. In terms of crude oil and commodities in the futures side, down 1.69%, 89.78 a barrel. That's a two-day losing streak for crude. Gasoline down 1.62% at $2.64. Remember, tomorrow we have crude oil inventory. So that's on every Wednesday unless there's a holiday. And then the VIX fell 6.21% at 2144. Let's go ahead and start with that, our session. Let's take a look at the VIX. Again, it's not a tradable security, but it is an index or a fear gauge, mind you. 2043 is your next support. If we get that break, it gets really interesting. Again, the lower the VIX usually means stock prices are growing higher. 2043 would be a break of that 100-day moving average on the daily. Sub 20, again, I've always said sub 20 usually is a bull market intact. Again, we talked about this before when the VIX was at 28. Reversion to the mean. We're going to get back to around 17 to around 20 for a little bit of time. We'll get spikes here and there, sure. But again, for the most part, you could see between 20 and 16 is where we usually stay for the most part on the VIX. So that's where we are. We also got some earnings that came in today. Let's take a look at the after-hours screener together. Enphase reported earnings today. Enphase reported 73 cent versus a 57 cent estimate beat. 412 million versus a 403 million dollar estimate. Their guidance was better than expected. 420 to 440 million versus a 411 estimate. Corsair beat on the top and the bottom line. Reports Q4 35 cent EPS versus the 30 cent estimate. 511 million versus 509 million, and they affirmed their guidance, but which is a little less than expected. 2.03 billion was the expectation. They got to 1.9 to 2.1 billion, so that's where they are in terms of Corsair. Lyft guides to 800 to 850 million revenue versus 1.08 million on the actual estimate. CMG, which is Chipotle Mexican Grill, $5.58 EPS versus a $5.19 estimate. 2 billion versus $1.95 billion. And Q1 same store sales, SSS, mid to high single digits. Same store sales, 15.2% gain versus guided low to mid double digits range. So again, that was better than expected. So again, you got some really good numbers out there from some good names. Again, let's take a look at the after hours. Enphase is up 13.95%. So again, First Solar is going to go with that. Sunrun's going to go with that. Again, we know Enphase is alternative energy. So again, like solar. Chipotle gained 8.09% after hours. Taking a look at the laggards. Lyft was down after hours, 7.38%. I still have some shares of that. Not tons, but I still have some. Take a look at Ryder System. They're down. Herbalife is down. Yum Brands is down 3.47 after hours. But let's see anything that's most active that we need to take a look at. Uber is down because of Lyft, and then Peloton is continuing to move up. They had a big day today, up 25.28%, and they had their earnings. We talked about that this morning. So interesting enough too, big boost on Bitcoin towards the end of the day, right around 3 p.m. with the market. You could see a nice boost from 42.9 to around 44,000 for a nice $1,100 pop on Bitcoin. Again, that's helping out cryptocurrency across the board. You could see pretty much same old, nothing has really changed. I could see if I could find today's action. Let's see, let's go to dashboard. This is Coin Tracker. This is what I use. Pretty much down 0.20% on my cryptocurrency for the day. Not the worst thing in the world. I've seen worse, trust me. So that's where we are on an after-hour screener. Let's see what did well in terms of the market. Go to our friends at FinViz. Go ahead and move this screen back. And we can go to groups. Let's take a look at the sectors that did well. Cyclicals did well. That's more of a risk-on environment trade. Technology, risk-on. Energy being down was big. Again, that's kind of the value. But again, financials went up today. We talked about that this morning with rates going up. Industrials doing well as well. Materials, again, we talked about that. When interest rates go up, materials, industrials, financials are going to do strong. The kind of the defensive names, defensive healthcare, they kind of went there, were green, but not as much, and real estate was down 0.37%. If we go to a 1 year relative performance, year to date, energy on top of the board, 18.35%, just year to date. And financials in second, up 4%. Real estate being down, technology being down, communication services, a bulk of that is Facebook being such a big part of that sector. If we go to the maps, you can see again, Facebook had a down day, down 2%. Amazon had a nice day. Tesla was up. Home Depot was up. Lowe's was up. Booking travel was up. Again, look at the red. Energy. Pfizer had their earnings. They're down. Moderna, they're down. So again, you could see a lot of green in technology, financials. The only one not being as green would be the fintechs of the world. UNH, one of my favorite companies to own, up another 2% today. The best of the breed in terms of healthcare. I mean, you just had a nice day. That's all it was for the most part. Again, it was a risk-on sentiment out there. Traders and investors were looking for some returns, some yields, and they were looking for these growth names: Peloton, GME, AMC, Blink, BABA, Upstart, AMD, SoFi, Riot, Mara, Neo, DraftKings, Penn National Gaming, Airbnb. You could see what I'm going with here. Again, all these names did well today because of the risk-on environment out there, and you can see the S&P starting to test the top range, part of that range. 45.25 by tomorrow would be strong. We got into SPY calls towards the end of the day. We are green on them. Let's see what we get. But again, the nice pivot level here, if you go to the hourly, was right at that 50-day moving average at 44.88. That's where we retested and we bounced. We should go a little higher towards the tail end of the week. Maybe possibly test 45.81 towards the tail end. Monday being a holiday. That's the memo for the day. Let's do it. All right. GS says, hey, Carlos. Hey, GS, what's up? How's Facebook chart looking? Pretty ugly. I don't think there's anything you could sugarcoat that. Again, I still own shares. Nothing has changed. I actually sent my portfolio to an investment club today. I had to work on that. 208.91 is your next big level of support. You break that down. Now you're starting to get below 100, maybe around 195. And if we get below that, well, then 137.10 is there. I don't think we get that low. I think 208.91 to 200 will probably be the max pain you'll get, the worst you'll get. I'll even add to there at 200, to be honest with you. Hi, Gar. Thoughts on CVS calls? Well, CVS in terms of volume doesn't have tons of volume in terms of the option market. But again, I see a nice breakout. Let's take a look at CVS together. We hit DAL today. CVS, I'm seeing a lot of volume. Yeah, good eye. I don't wonder what's going on. It's probably earnings. So I would just be careful on that. Maybe earnings is coming up on CVS. I'm not sure. Let me go and verify that. CVS earnings. Let's see. Earnings call is at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So that's why you got the earnings. So that's pretty much the bulk of the volume is going to be. So no, I wouldn't do anything here unless you're looking for playing the actual earnings report tomorrow first thing. I know you don't trade earnings, but I need your opinion. I want to trade this, Twitter, Datadog, Twilio, Cloudflare. What do you think? Ruben, do you have to trade every single one of those? Why don't you just do one, gun to your head? You don't have to do everything. If you like these names, just buy the stock instead. Sure, you won't get the upside, but again, it reduces your risk. So again, if I had to pick between all of those, I would say more likely Disney. Cloudflare is good too. But again, I don't have any inside information on what they do. In terms of their earnings, I just don't have that information. But take a look at the daily on Disney, which I do own. And there is a gap to fill to the upside. So I think like a 145, 150 calls wouldn't be terrible for Disney, as it is looking to carve at least somewhat of a bottom right at that gap fill at 128.91. And then you should be able to bounce. Again, granted, we haven't good earnings. Did SPGI report earnings yet? Never heard of this. I heard of SPG, S&P Global. I think you mean SPG, maybe Simon Property Group. They did report earnings. Let me see if I can get that for you. Recent event, I don't see them moving after hours. They are down today, 4.62%. Trying to see if I got any numbers here. Simon Property Group, it should be yesterday, I'm assuming, or today. Let me see if I had anything here from them. So that was yesterday. So they did report, but other than that, I don't see any change other than them falling today 4.62%. You can see on the hourly chart just in that. Yeah, this is what their earnings are. They estimated $2.87 versus a $3.09 actual, but yet the stock fell after hours yesterday. So I don't know much about them, but SPGI is something else. I'm only afraid of Disney's streaming service growth. Yeah, I agree. It's a tough one. I'm just playing technicals on that one. But again, I don't have information on Disney. I can tell you that I do own the stock, and if it does get a little cheaper, I'll definitely scoop some more. So I like Disney long term. And then, think of them as Netflix with theme parks and actual licenses to sell. So I think Disney obviously should be higher than Netflix, but I think the streaming number that Netflix had in terms of their earnings, that's already pretty much priced in. So again, I think that we should be able to get to 148, if not 150 by earnings. All right, we'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Make sure to click like if you like these videos. Thank you so much for joining me today and every day. 9 a.m. for the morning note, 5 p.m. for the aftermarket recap. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Cheers.